at Massey out Annisvale with the vendors. The vendors have been removed without notice. All their sheds and so on have been broken down. You could see, if you want to turn on and see it. Apparently the police came and just destroyed all the stores that the vendors have out here at Massey out Annisvale. And the vendors are complaining that they weren't given any notice.
Good morning. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora, machismo. On the morning of Monday, the 7th June 2022, members from the Planning Division and the Police Department of St. Vincent and the Grenadines went to Annisvale in the vicinity of the Massey supermarket and they destroyed that the vendors who operate in that area had there, and they took away all of their properties. I am not here to determine whether they were operating lawfully or not, but I will tell you, 90% of the time, those vendors will not have a trader's license. 90% of the time, they were either trespassing or loitering. 90% of the time, they would have erected structures unlawfully. And 90% of the time, their operation would have been in a violation either of the trespassing law, the loitering law, or the public nuisance law. The year 1996 and 1998, when the Kingston board was trying to get the vendors off of the streets of Kingston in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, he saw a political opportunity, not an opportunity to help St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but a political opportunity that would benefit him. And he imposed himself into the situation that the tongue board was trying to, the problem that the tongue board was trying to solve. And he encouraged the vendors not to cooperate with the tongue board because, as he said it is the fundamental right of every Vincentian to be able to make a living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I knew it was not the tongue board's intention to just move these vendors willy-nilly. They had a plan. They relocate those vendors to the top floor of the Kingston vegetable market, where they were still allowed to ply their trade. It was the tongue board intention to find jobs for those vendors who want to be gainfully employed but were unable to find jobs. This time in the middle street, they had a Guyanese couple by the name of John and Lizzie. They had 2 tables, 1 each. They had Mikey from Rockies, who did leather work. He made belts from leather and he offered those belts for sale. They had Anita Wilson and Shirley Wilson. They were sisters. They had 2 separate tables. And they had Darius Jack and some others were there. Little Tokyo, there were icebox vendors. They had Rhoda and a few vendors that operated on the B Street were vendors who sold farm product, fruits, vegetables, and ground provision. For almost 20 years of Ralph Gonsalves as Prime Minister, he ignored the problem that he had nurtured. And this problem got so out of hand that every nook or cranny you can find in Kingston, you can find a vendor there operating. They have Kingston, St. Vincent and the Grenadines look like a slum, and the stench that comes from the streets in Kingston is unbearable. The vending problem also spread on the outskirts of Kingston. Here we see in Annisvale, the vendor problem became so prominent. Supermarket owner Massey were complaining. One of the things we must always remember is Ralph Gonsalves is a micromanager. Nothing happens in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, especially in such a case, without his knowledge and without his consent. It was Ralph Gonsalves who brought Massey into St. Vincent and the Grenadines to try to put Bonady and other supermarkets. Massey Supermarket is one of the supermarkets that gives Ralph Gonsalves cutbacks. That is why he sent the Planning Division and the police to take care of them. He brought them into St. Vincent and the Grenadines to do a particular job. As some of the people who were dispossessed in this action by Ralph Gonsalves in order to protect Massey, look at the people good. They are all black males. They are all fathers. In California, what it does, Caucasians community do everything to suppress the black males. They refuse to give them employment. And anytime they try to do something on their own, they send the police at them to take away their opportunity to prosper. Because it is their intention, the Caucasians' intention, to emasculate every black man, give the black woman power over the black man, destroying the black family. These are men with children. Each of them are fathers. And each of them are applying their trade to take care of their family because they don't want to be depending on anyone else. It is Ralph Gonsalves who said, it is the fundamental human rights of every Vincentian to be able to make a living in the country of their birth. Why isn't he creating employment so that these people can find real jobs to do and stop litter the place trying to make a living? Because we know if they are hungry, men must be fed. They will either be fed either by a legal means or a criminal means. My people, Vincentians, you are too naive to understand that this is all about race. You are too naive to understand that this is all about race. Everywhere there's a black settlement and there's white people, the blacks are always oppressed. The resources of the state are always being used against the black community. It is always about race. Ralph Gonsalves' primary objective is to get those men to participate in homosexuality, to take care of their children, to take care of their family. And when they get involved in homosexuality, he gets them to become slaves. And he is then able to manipulate them in the same manner he has been manipulating the entire population who he have raped or whom they have encouraged into homosexuality and abortion. Many of you will not understand what I'm saying because you have never lived in a community and where the Caucasians are literally trying to get every black man to become a homosexual or to get them on drugs. I have been a victim of this. I know what I'm speaking about. So believe me when I say, this is all about race, nothing else. Gonsalves said it is a fundamental human right for every Vincentian to be able to make a living in their country, yet he has taken away these guys' opportunity to make a living in their own country.
This year man watch your base now water. He rock back and he shaky. He say who put your soul in St. Vincent?
The Ombia man he done dead.
Tax money send a farmer leave Vatican, and the Pope put blessings on the big man head. But he come back 10 times more wicked and dread. Cause who put them there so done dead. They promise integrity legislation, we end up with more corruption instead. They say fish that start rotting from the head. Cause who put them there so done dead. I'm looking for a brand new city. I see 2 plywood school instead, and flea biting children skin turning red. Cause who put them there so done dead.
Ralph Gonsalves had been Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for over 20 years and he did not create any new job. As a matter of fact, the amount of jobs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have decreased under Ralph Gonsalves' government more than any other government that ever run St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the history of this country. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo.
They say they're going to lift up SPG higher. They lift up the national debt instead. Yet only one move the national head. Cause who put them there so done dead. When I hear about all of this debt forgiveness, I say for once the boss use the head. He borrow back the cash, we back in the red. Cause who put them there so done dead. None of them street dogs file for their owner. Report from the embassy said they up they sleeping in white people bed. Cause who put them there so done dead.